You know, there's a lot of discussion out there about leg strength, but something that you unfortunately don't see a lot of are discussions about leg coordination. The reason why is because there's very few situations where you need to apply leg strength that aren't pretty complex. Look at sports. Well, hell, let's just take a look at walking, for example, and you'll see the need to coordinate the joints of the ankle, the knee, the hip with these long levers in between. So if you really want to apply leg strength effectively, you've also got to have the coordination to do so. And that's why you find a lot of athletes also train lower body agility drills. Now the trouble that I see is that the majority of people out there pretty much know what they need to do in order to improve their leg strength, but they have a hard time in understanding what they need to do in order to start working on their leg coordination, or let's just be honest, they haven't even thought about leg coordination at all. Having better lower body coordination is going to drastically improve any sport and activity you do. That includes things from baseball to kicking the crap out of your kids' Legos when they leave them out at night and it's dark and you step on them on your way to the toilet. Those things hurt like hell. Now in today's video, I'm going to take you through a movement combo that's going to give you everything you need in order to help you to improve your lower body coordination right away. All right, so this is the move that we're going to work on today. Now, in order to make sure that you're good to work on that, first, let's do a little check. So we're going to go down into a squat, making sure that we don't let our knees come in. From here, we're going to put our hands on the floor behind us, sit down. We're going to drop a knee to the floor, touch that floor, bring the knee back up, opposite knee down to the floor, bring the knee up, and we're going to walk back up into the squat and stand up. Now, if you're having trouble doing that, well, you need to spend some time just working on that before you go to the next section. If that's comfortable and you feel good when you do that, hey, you're ready to move on. Let's do it. The single biggest mistake that I see people having when they perform this movement is that when they drop the knee, they keep the toes and the heel in place and they roll up so that their toes are up on the mat and they try and sit back on it. Now, this is not going to work out. And so what we need to do is we need to focus on the proper foot position to make sure that we can smoothly transition into this position. So what you're going to do from here is in your squat, take one hand behind you, load that. Similar to what we did in that prep movement, you're going to drop the knee down. But as you do it, you want to focus on pointing your toes so that your foot is nice and flat so that you can roll over the top and sit in your heel. That's it. And this is the movement that we really need to get down, this transition, in order to make everything smooth and fit nicely together. Going from standing to this position and back to standing. Now from this position, all you're going to do is once again place your hand and load it on the ground to your side and back, dropping the heel towards the ground. And as you do that, the knee comes up and you're back in that squat position. So you can stand up and from here, go back into the opposite side by taking hand behind you, dropping the knee to the ground, pointing your toes, making sure your foot is flat, rolling over the top of your foot, sitting on the heel, then placing your hand on the ground again, going back into the squat. Once you're comfortable with that, then you can start working on tempos and gradually taking your hand off the ground and working to be able to go in and out of this position without using your hands. Now, notice I'm not standing up out of that. You can, of course, but something else that's fun to play with is just going in and out of this position, pausing in the squat, sinking down again, then dropping into this transition. So that's the move. And remember, the key point for this is to make sure that you're rolling on the top of the foot and not letting your toes come up so that you end up in this position. All right, so once you have this move down, going from standing to squat to transition and to standing again, it's time to sophisticate the movement. Let's do it. What you're gonna do with this one is we're gonna add in a shrimp squat to this. We talked about leg strength, and This is a great way where you can continue to further sophisticate your strength as well as working on your coordination for this. So same movement that you did earlier, rolling over the top of your foot. Now from here, you're going to load this leg, pull this leg up off the ground, perform a shrimp squat. You go back down, slowly, slowly, sit on this leg, pull this leg up off the ground, and then you can go over to the opposite side and work on that. Now the cool thing with this, remember, is if you need to, use your training wheels, loading that leg, pull that leg up. You might need your toes on the ground here, stand up, keeping your foot there, slowly lowering yourself to the ground, slowly sitting into the leg. Use your hands if you need to. Wherever you are, at whatever level, you can make adjustments. You can continue to work on complexity, improving that coordination while you're also improving your leg strength. There's so many different options and variations you can do. Once you have this particular movement down, there's some other movement combinations that you can do along with this, moving in and out of this move. And it's also very applicable, whether it be working on your yoga as well as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, that's a big part of my life. And not just that though, but this particular coordination and the movement that we're working on is going to be applicable and help you for any other sport and activity out there. Everything from playing soccer to whatever it is in your life that brings you joy. Now the cool thing about this little combo is that you can pretty much do it anywhere that you have space. Notice that I am doing this on a mat. I don't suggest doing this on a hardwood floor in the beginning. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, not to get injured. That's very important. But in terms of actually drilling this movement, focus on practicing it. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you should do a specific number of sets and reps. It's simply a matter of exploring the movement. Maybe you can do a little bit as warm-up before your exercise session that you're doing. Maybe it could be a cool down. Maybe it could just be something that you're doing if you're watching TV in the evening. But whatever it is, do it with intent and be sure that you're aware of what's going on, bringing focus to each part, the hips, the knees, the ankles, and what's going on in the movement whenever you're doing it. The reason for showing you this is I want you to understand that there's more than simply looking at strength. Coordination is also a factor, and by having better coordination and focusing on the strength, flexibility, and control in the combination of that, it's going to lead to better physical autonomy. That's what we're really after. Now, if you enjoy this movement today, then be sure to check out our program Mobius. I cover this move in depth as well as a lot of other movements, put them all together into a fun combination that, again, is leading towards physical autonomy. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a comment and subscribe because we got plenty of videos on here that I know you're going to enjoy.